Everyone, and welcome. It's RSF1 Ryken again, bringing you a live briefing, as also a Q&A answer as well of the new rulebook. And just off topic as well, the next stream I said about the next stream that I do will be for in a Lewis Hamilton shirt, but that means commentary stream, not stream what I'm doing today, hence why I'm in true colours. Okay, so I'm just waiting for some members to join in now. I hope you all have had a chance to read the rulebook as well. I have to say, first of all, thanks to Jace Lee for helping us design this rulebook, as well as the other heads and vice head stewards, especially Nosh Owls, Timmer, Grunt, Falcon, Easton. We've all got together and made a hello Grunt and made this excellent rulebook that I have had positive feedback on since it's come out. Right, okay, so we're going to get to the point, and there are obviously some new elements to the rulebook this season. The first point that I do want to make very clear to everyone is about the appeals team. Now, it's something that the drivers wanted, as much as I didn't want it because it's created me such a headache. But it's rule 1.5, so I'll read the rule as it is, word for word. Any questions about it? I've got the stream up so I can see what you are questioning me. I know there's going to be some people out there that are going to deliberately question me over certain things because they want to make things very, very clear for the rest of the drivers, as do I. Okay, so this season there is an appeal system in place for the team principal to use should they feel that a member of their team has been unfairly penalised in a race. The information below will contain how an appeal can be launched. Again. Okay, so each team garage, so AlphaTauri, Ferrari, all the rest of them, will all have 10 appeals tokens to use for each season. Those tokens are non-refundable. Once those tokens have been spent and you've asked for a appeal, whether you win or lose, you lose that token. So, for example, we start the season next season. So, I don't know, team principal of Ferrari has decided that his driver in F2 was unfairly penalised. He launches an appeal. That token is gone, can't be exchanged back, can't be given back whatsoever. That's gone. He will only have 9 left for the season. So team principals, you do need to make sure that you are using your tokens wisely. And I understand as well that the fact it could affect your championship for the constructors and think about this is where you need to make the call and say, is it worth appealing? Is it not worth appealing? R.I.P. Sam Blackers. Hello Peppermeat, it's good to see you. Okay, so as I said, only the team principal can launch an appeal of that garage. And the team principal must appeal within 12 hours of the steward's report going live for each tier. So for example, F2 race on a Sunday, I will do everything in my power, and it will happen, to make sure that that report is released by 9 AM on the Tuesday at a suitable time for everyone to actually get a read of it and be sure that I don't want to be putting them out at stupid o'clock in the morning like I was last season because we didn't have the appeals team when I was at work. I will put them out at a decent time where everyone has got a good chance to read the report and then say, right, I want to appeal or I don't want to appeal. Okay. The team principal must contact the senior head steward, that's myself, to launch the appeal against the report. As the team principal must gather all the evidence required for the appeal and must write an explanation, either via Discord, a document, I don't care how it comes across, as long as I get an explanation of why you are appealing against the steward's decision. I will then, as myself, the senior head steward, will ask the team principal at the end of it, is there any more information for the appeal? So any more evidence, any more information, because once the team principal says, that is all my evidence, I close it from that end. There will be no evidence coming across, any more further evidence against a decision. Whatever's put across will be given over to the appeals team. I will then pass the information over to the appeals team, who will aim to get back to me with the result within 24 hours. I will then relay the decision back to the team principal of the appeal result, and I'll make changes to the steward's report and also release the appeals report alongside, should it be necessary, should the appeal win through. Once all these changes to the reports have been made, then straight away I will relay that information over to the standings team, and they can be updated on the website accordingly. As I said, I will make sure it's paramount in the stewards team that the reports come up within 48 hours, because it is paramount that we work quickly. If we don't, it will delay the rest of the standings, and if we delay the rest of the standings, it then causes more and more backlog of work, and that's one thing we don't want to do. Any questions, guys, of the appeals? I'm waiting. Cool. At the moment, no. Obviously, if you do come back with a question later on in this session, then grand, I will get back to it and answer it. I said about timescales, and guys as well, any new drivers out there that are watching this, what evidence is accepted? So evidence of a clip from another driver's perspective, evidence from the stream can be used as well. Bother, don't even ask that question. What constitutes a writ appeal is if you feel that you are wrong done by the stewards. And anyway, back to my point, if any new drivers out there want to join the stewarding team, please feel free to send an application to myself or the new head steward of RSF1, Grantashtree, or as we like to call him now since last week, Grunty. Okay. Obviously the rule book is not finalised for the season. Like my starting race? What do you mean by that, Top Notch? As in the social races? If you're referring to your social race, then it's a no. The rulebook only went live on Friday. The appeals team didn't exist until Friday. It hasn't gone live. It didn't go live till Friday, so no. No, that was last season's, so that can't be appealed against. Only incidences under season 3 can be appealed against. Anything under season 2, for penalties carried over, that's just it. That has to stick. That's the old rule book, 4.2.7. There was no appeals team, so that is how it is. Okay. Guys, remember as well, if you can't make a race, you need to then alert your division head. You alert your division head to say that you cannot make that race. If not, it does go down as a no-show. Whoops. If you miss 3 races in a row, you will lose your full-time seat and be dropped to the reserve pool. If you then miss 5 races, if you missed 5 races in a row without good reason, even if you are a reserve and don't say that you cannot make the race, you will then be removed from the league without question. And also, I must stress as well about new drivers. Any new drivers that have come into Season 3, for your first month of league racing, you will be placed on a 1-month probationary period. Should you be involved in any major incidences, or the management receive a number of complaints about your etiquette in Discord, or any other form of RSF1, you could be removed from the league without warning. Also, we did quite a few changes last season to the tiers. Now, it is our aim this season to have all the tiers finalised by the 5th race of the season. Should a driver become faster in that tier because they've put the work into it, and we get the rest of the tier going, oh, they're too fast for us now, they need to go up a tier, the attitude of the committee and the tiers department is get faster. They've worked for it, they deserve it. Okay. Leaving the league. That's another change of the rule book area as well. So, last season we said that you can leave the league once, come back, and if you leave a second time, that's it. This season, you leave it once, that's your season finished. You can't join back until season 4. That's black and white, can't be any more simpler than that. However, we do understand that some drivers do have personal issues, and personal life does take over paramount over everything else. Should that you need to have time away for your own personal reasons, you do need to contact either the division head or a member of the league management to say, I need some time away from the league. This has happened. You don't have to tell us all the nitty gritty details, everything like that, but if anything's personal and you want to keep it saying, look, personal reasons, I need some time away, we will facilitate your time away and we'll plop you into the reserve pool for temporary, and then should another seat be available, then we can possibly move you back up, providing that the seat is available. We will obviously fill the seat as quick as we can, because we do we want to try and keep full grids, but obviously if there isn't and your seat's still available when you're ready to come back, then we'll give you your seat back. Okay. Assists. In 2020 there's some new assists that have come up in the game. We have now got ERS assist and fuel assist. Oh no, sorry, DRS assist and fuel assist. League rules and etiquette imply that they are off, and they will be locked off as well, so you can't use them. We are league. It's the league rules. We want you as a driver to manage your own systems rather than the computer do it for you. Again, with the race settings, ghosting will be off with the exception of Hanoi, Monaco, Baku and Singapore. They are all street circuits, and like etiquette said, like we've done set precedent before, all street circuits will have ghosting on. Connections as well. We've had a review of the connections over during the off season. Now, I cannot stress to you guys enough. Peppermeat, technically, Melbourne is now a permanent track because they've made it a permanent track now. Yes, it uses old streets, but it is actually identified as a permanent track now. Okay. Connection. Back to where I was. You as drivers, guys, are responsible for your own connections. I can't stress enough from all the committee, we do recommend, if it's possible, wire your Xboxes in. Don't run wireless, because wireless can be so unreliable. Whether it's a power line adapter, whether it's you have to buy extensively massive huge Cat 5 or Cat 6 lead, if it's possible to do it, please do it. It will secure your connections a lot more. Also, if you lose connection to the lobby during a race, you're only allowed to reconnect twice, sorry. Any more than 2 times, you could upset the lobby and then ruin everyone else's race. It's just as simple as it, and we want to give everyone a fair chance of racing. Okay. Now the biggest change from season 2 to season 3, restarts. I will not stress this enough. This season there will be no restarts. Anything other than a 95% mass disconnection will constitute for a restart. Sorry, won't constitute for a restart. A 95% mass disconnection would only mean that the lobby host is left in the lobby. It includes the stream will be kicked out, the co-coms and every other driver. Even if 50% of the grid crash out at the first corner, it's tough. Take more caution with your turn 1 incidences. You know, the race is not won in turn 1. It's a long race. Strategize. Make it work. Make strategies work for you. And on that note as well, anyone trying to be a turn 1 hero, whether they made contact or not, any turn 1 incidences will be looked into very deeply by the stewards for the source of the incident. So for example, if you make a move on the inside of someone and turn round and, I don't know, you push someone away and they make contact with someone else and it has a chain effect, the person that made that dive bomb on the inside will be held responsible because they caused the incident. They didn't. It doesn't matter whether you didn't make contact with anyone, didn't cut any corners. If you created that incident, you are going to be penalised for it. Now moving on to qualifying. Now there's a new aspect, new rule for qualifying, 3.11.7, and this was agreed by all the stewards. Any driver that purposely blocks another driver who is out on a qualifying lap in Q3 or in the other Q1 and Q2 and prevent a driver from getting into the next session, you will be handed an instant ban, a qualifying ban. You have penalised someone from getting into the next session who potentially could have got there. If the driver did get into the next session, then you'll be penalised as per rulebook for whatever damages or time losses, etc., that you are going to that you've created that driver. Again, I can't stress about race tyres. Make sure that you are on the correct tyres, but the game should be enforcing that rule without us having to enforce it. Formation lap, guys, as well. Please take caution on your formation lap. In what aspects top notch? What about space from behind? Ooh, that's nice gin. I'll explain further. Right, I'll explain further whilst I'm waiting for Top Notch's question. Alright, hang on. Again, it falls down to the responsibility of the person on the flying lap to make sure that you have room. However, if a driver on an in-lap or an out-lap knows that you are on a flying lap, then they should be giving you the room and space that you need. Obviously, if they're up your gearbox, then you can warrant, say, like, you know, that's off-putting and we can look into it. But say if they're like 2 or 3 car lengths behind you, then are they really off-putting you? Don't look behind. All you've got to worry about is in front of you on a qualifying lap and stay within the track limits. That's my answer to that one. And if you need more clarification on that, just ask. Formation lap as well, guys. Please take extra caution on the formation lap. Give people space. Don't deliberately crash into each other. If you crash into each other, despite you not doing any damage, we will treat it as that you could have potentially done damage, and you will be penalised as per rulebook for any incidences happening in the formation lap. Just remember to give significant space to everyone. Yes, we want to warm up our tyres and warm up our brakes. So for example, if you've got one driver on the left hand, if the driver in front of you is on the left hand side of the track, move to the right so that you can accelerate and go a little bit ahead of them and that lot, and then put your brakes on sharply. But just remember, when you are sharp braking, look behind you before you do so, because you may have someone right behind you who doesn't know that you're going to brake sharply, and you collect them. Okay. Safety cars. Big problem last season. Gave me a massive headache over the season. People not giving sufficient space behind the safety car. Please give people space in that safety car window. The only time you should all be really bunching up is when you get that message from the race director, safety car in this lap. I understand at that point you want to get the jump on someone, you don't want to lose positions, but whilst you're waiting for that message, just give people plenty of room. You know, we want to keep our tyres warm. Again, it's a bit like the formation lap. We want to keep our tyres warm, we want to keep our brakes warm, so that when we do a restart, you've not got cold tyres going back into turn one and we watch cars go flying. Okay, overtaking and defending. You may notice that this season I've put in pretty little pictures for you to look at. Those pictures are to help you define when it is safe to make a move. Now, you've got that lovely saying that is going to be my favourite saying for this whole season, the vortex of danger. Guys, it's pretty self-explanatory in the picture about the vortex of danger. If you're coming into a corner, don't enter it. If you enter the vortex of danger, whether you're if you're attacking and you create contact with the defending car, it will be you, the offender, that will be held responsible. Or the attacker, sorry, not the offender. However, the rule has slightly changed about being alongside to be deemed given space. Last season we had it as front wing to rear wheel. This season we've made it a little bit easier for you guys and be able to make it a bit more attacking as well. So, should your front wheel be alongside the defending car's side pod, then you are to be warranted room. So both drivers must make sure they give space to one another. If obviously your wheel is on the side pod of the defending driver and the defending driver cuts you off, then obviously you have the right to put in a clip and say that he cut me off, I was well within my rights to make the move, because the reason why we said side pod is because if your front wheel is along the side pod, then the front wing of the attacking car should be well in view. Either if you're on TV pod, you should be able to see it by the side of your car, and if you've got mirrors, which you all should be using whilst racing, you will be able to see that car is right beside you and you need to give it room. Don't be silly, don't try and cut it off and shut the door at the last minute, you will be penalised. Again, the proximity arrows will help you guide that one, as stated in 3.17.4. Also, dive bombs will be looked at as well as were before, so try not to be too optimistic with your moves. If it's completed cleanly, congratulations, you've made an excellent move. But if it's not completed cleanly and you've made a cock up, you will be penalised for that as well. You know, it's the defending driver has the right to take the corner as per racing line. Also, about defending and attacking of racing line, if you are being deemed warranted room, that doesn't mean that one driver sticks to the racing line. It does mean that you will have to change your line into the corner. So be mindful. Obviously, track limits this season of this game is a little bit more stricter. It is been decided by the committee that we will stick with strict corner cutting and track limits. So guys, try and keep it between the white lines if you can. We will not take compensation for we will not give compensation for anyone exceeding track limits excessively. Obviously, if it is to avoid a collision with someone or to avoid an incident that's happened between the other two drivers and you do get the penalty for it, you are entitled to submit to the stewards about that. And then obviously, if we deem it that you are trying to avoid contact, then obviously we'll compensate you for the time that you were given a penalty for, etc. Racing instances, moderate collisions and major collisions pretty much stay the same. However, major collisions, should a driver be involved in 3 or more major collisions, that means 45 penalty points within 3 weeks in a row, you will be subject to a meeting with the committee, because for you to be involved in 3 major incidences 3 weeks on a row, plus also within the 2nd week of the 3rd week, the stewards do have authority to penalise you harsher because you're not learning your lesson. You'll more than likely accumulate your 50 penalty points and you'll be subject to a meeting with the committee with the likely outcome of saying bye-bye. We will remove you from the league. Again, I can't stress to you guys enough when you are making an inquiry to the stewards that you need to provide evidence of the penalty for unfair penalties. You need to provide evidence of the penalty being applied. If you can give us a copy of your race director, it would be handy, but we will look into the race director on the stream if needed to find out if that penalty was served or not served. Remember guys, if the penalty has been served, it cannot be compensated because it doesn't come up. If it's not been served, we can compensate you back for it because it'll be added to your race time. And that this also applies to unfair stop and go penalties as well. So if you feel that you've been given a penalty early in the race for no reason no fault of your own, and you've served the penalty, you do need to provide evidence of you serving the penalty, evidence of the penalty being awarded, and then we will look into giving you compensation for it. I must stress to you guys as well, any penalties that are gained under the virtual safety car or the safety car, and I will not make this any clearer, they will not be penalised, whether you are the victim or the offender. If you can't give each other space or stay within the track limits going less than the racing speed, half the speed, 20, whatever the delta says that you've got to be going, then it's tough. You've got to take time, make sure that you are staying within the track limits, make sure that you're giving each other space on the safety cars and everything like that. I haven't got the time, and none of the rest of the stewards have got time to go, right, was he in the wrong, was it in the wrong? You need to give each other, you need to be more and more cautious with each other. You know, we're all experienced league racers, we're all experienced racers or F1 fans or everything like that, so again, if a penalty is given them, we're not gonna compensate it. Remember as well, unfair 10-second time penalties can only be reduced to 3 seconds if they are going to be compensated. We can't completely remove the penalty. It's the way that it's been from day one. We'll reduce it to a maximum of 3 seconds. Again, and did that give you a penalty, Tetra? And was it under a VSC or a safety car? I'll wait for your next question. I'm not much for a response on that one. If it's under safety car conditions, again, the rule applies. Tough. You will have that penalty stick, whether it's to graze tyres to avoid someone. It is under the safety car. You know, I'm sure you could have slowed down a little bit further, to have gone around it a different way. That is the way it is. Like I said, penalties under a safety car or under VSC will stick regardless. Okay. The rest of the rule book hasn't really changed much from last season. Obviously, the time penalties remain, the point systems remain. Again, penalty points will be reset per season. But at the end of the season, should a driver accumulate points for a race ban or be handed an instant race ban, it will be carried across to the next season. It's how it's always been, it's how it's going to stay. Again, if you are unfortunate enough to get 20 penalty points in one racing, in one event, e.g. qualifying and the race, 20 points in one session, you will be handed an instant race ban for the next race. As well as, if you accumulate 40 penalty points, you will also be handed a race ban as well. So, there's two reasons why you could be given a race ban. Also, guys, any further questions? I've pretty much gone over the new points of the new rulebook. I hope that this briefing has been able to give you a little bit more clarity of the rulebook of the new clarity of the new rules. Oh yes, I bet you can't wait, Timmer, as well. I wish you right. Okay, there is been an announcement going out this morning by myself as the committee, and I will stress to you guys again about this. If we feel that any driver has sandbagged to be placed in a lower tier to make it easier for a win or a championship win, we will not take this lightly. We will take it as cheating, and we will remove you from the league with instant effect. We will not say, okay, you want to go into a higher tier, then that's fine. If you want to come clean now's your chance. You have until tomorrow to come clean that you've been sandbagging. If you haven't sandbagged, you've got nothing to hide. Is there any further questions out there for any of the rest of you guys out there watching the stream? Obviously, if you've got no questions now and you have a new question come up, please feel free to message me over Discord. RSF1 Raikkonen, I'm about all weekend, and I'll try and give you much clarification of the rules. Also, Grantastrophe, or Grunty as we now call him, he is now the new head steward. He has been well acquainted with the rule book and been able to answer any queries as well, should I not be available. I wish you all the best of I'll give it all my tea there. Well done, Top Notch. That's good. That's good to hear. I wish you all the best of luck for season 3. I hope that we have a good season this season, and we get some good close championship battles. I know that tier 3 is looking very close at the moment, and it's going to be one tasty battle. F2 and F1, they look very close and fast at the moment. The pace that people have gained this season is absolutely unreal. I've seen some of the TTs that have come through and compared them to last season's, and it's phenomenal. And all I can say is, well done, guys, for getting the pace that you've deserved, and you deserve to be where you are. Yeah. So, as I said again, good luck. It's been a pleasure to bring you all this question. Please, the rule book is available. Stewards, print it off. Study it. It is your new Bible. Drivers as well. If you've got the facilities to print it, print it. Have a hard copy for you to do some bedtime reading or whatever. I will not be light on anyone that does not read the rule book. Again, the penalties for ready up still remain the same as well. I can't stress to you enough. When you sign up to the league, you agree to this book. So whether you turn around and say, "Oh, I didn't read the rule book," I don't care. Your job is to read this rule book. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure. Take care.